Welcome to our second Fearless Power podcast. Wait, we just made a handshake.
Wait.
Hold on, let's do this. Let's try this again. This just happened. Ready? Welcome to our Fearless No, it didn't work. Welcome to our Fearless No. Oh, we do Fearless Power and then podcast.
You,
all right.
You made it up.
Welcome to our second
Fearless Power podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to our second episode. Today we're gonna get into the tea and some juicy stuff about what led us into making the decision to open up our businesses and what was our breaking point and move on from there.
When did you have enough? And when
did we have enough?
When did we felt ready to do it?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And who was there to support you and say, go for it. Just do it.
Let's get down to
because
it.
you need that. Yeah. All right. You want to go first?
Okay. So
okay. I'm interested to know this one because your husband doesn't do hair.
He does not do hair.
So he's just business, right?
He's just business. He had the tattoo shop first. So
I didn't know that.
He had a business sense already.
Okay.
Not hair related, but industry related. So started with the tattoo shop. I always said that I wanted to open a salon. And we kept saying, we were buying a house. So we kept saying, in 2 years, we're going to open a salon. The reason I wanted to open a salon was because every salon at the time that I felt like I worked in and I didn't find my home, How
many salons did you work?
Probably 5. Okay. I would say about.
So you assisted, didn't stay, or did you tell me a little bit
I assisted for 3 years in one place, didn't become a stylist, left, assisted, started becoming a stylist in Nutley at a different salon. Then from there, I decided I wanted to go to Hoboken and work in a salon there. Then I realized that commuting was not for me, so I came back and I worked in a salon in Montclair. And from that point on, I stayed in my Montclair salon. Okay. But the one thing that I always found, I didn't find my home. That was one. For a while, I was not in the right, I was still, like I said in the previous episode, I was getting clean. I stopped doing hair for a while. I was back and forth with addiction and all of that. So when I finally got it together, thank you, Damien, for our table. When I finally got it together, I realized that I didn't have a home because I was looking for a specific culture. The reason I was looking for a specific culture is because my energy didn't match everybody else's energy. I felt like I would go to work and it was drama and it was complaining and people complaining about, oh, we don't have enough color. Oh, we don't have this. And I'm like, I can't deal with this. This is not for me. I want to go to work, create. If I don't have enough color, I want to figure out a new formula because there's always stuff to figure it out. And I was just sick of the complaining, It's not my personality. I'm more solution-based. So I knew that where I've been all those years wasn't working for me. I think my true breaking point was when my clients started to say to me, I love you, but I don't love the salon that you're working in.
That sucks. Because you don't even know if they're coming back.
Yeah, they did, but there's a chance that if I stayed there for long enough, they wouldn't. Right. And I worked my butt off to build these clients and build relationships, and it's not easy. You want to really get to know these people, My clients come in, I hug them like they're family. Right. So I decided that in 2 years I was going to open a salon. Still, fear kicks in. I was scared. I didn't know if I was ready. So me seeing it further away made me not so scared to do it. Okay. I had a friend that owned a barbershop and he was like, hey, listen, there's a space next door. It used to be a salon. You should come look at it. So me and Phil were like, let's see where that could happen. Let's go look at it, you know? And then everything just boom, opens up. As soon as you walk in, you're like. He's like, I know you said 2 years, but maybe you should look at it now. Yeah. And then you see it and you're like, I have to do this. Yeah. And I had a friend who is my manager now. She's my main person. she worked with me and I was like, hey, open it up with me. And at the time she was like, no, I just want to work a 9 to 5 and go home. And I was like that too. I remember those days, you know, so I respected it. But she's like, I'm going to come with you though. That's kind of, so I knew that getting that space, if I had me who had my book, I could afford it myself. And if I had her, we would make a great team to build the culture that I was looking for.
That's great.
The culture.
It's so nice to have that, because I know our spouses, like, they're there behind our backs, but it's nice to have that one friend that pushes you, because it keeps you excited when you're building, when you
to have the support.
They have that friend support that understands, that's there with you on your like day to day doing hair and stuff. Like
I'm not doing this alone.
Yeah, even though like you might have been, but like it just felt like you had the like security in a way, you know. 100%. And that's why like that's where the good friends and good employees come in. Yeah.
And my husband's really good because he's like, listen, go for it. What's the worst that could happen? And then once he said that, I realized like the worst that could happen is that it doesn't work out. And if it doesn't work out, I gain knowledge that I would have never gained before. I would know what I did wrong. And if I thought down the road I wanted to do it again, now I won't make those same mistakes. And that was 100%. Kind of my mentality. Think about how many people I even knew from my past that always said they wanted to do something and never did it. They'll never know if they were capable of doing it. And I didn't want that to be my story.
That's why the name of the podcast
is Fearless Power
Podcast.
So that was kind of my breaking point leading into making my decision to do it. And then once I made the decision, I was working 5 days a week, all day long.
But let me ask you a question. It doesn't feel like work, right? You just go. You just keep going. You're like, I just feel like I belong here.
I knew I had to do it.
That's what happened to me. Like when I left I worked at 2 salons before I opened up my first salon. But I opened up a suite, so it was a little different. You opened up an actual, how big was your salon?
That's good to know. My first salon was The Room in Verona. That's my baby. And it was a small boutique salon that was 5 chairs.
And then you expanded. We expanded have an education room in there, which looks great. For me, the reason why I left, it was similar situations. Like, you know, we loved our clients. And I'm thankful for the place I worked. You know, they gave me a chance. They gave me an opportunity to take in clients to experiment, because I was so fresh. Like I assisted for 2 years, got my chair doing little blowouts on a Saturday, and it sucked. Like my shoulders were hurting. Like, and that's all they gave me. And then I was like, you know what? I can do more than this. I don't want to just do blowouts. Like, I don't. And if that's for you, it's great. It's a great career to have. For me, I always loved color. And I just felt like that where I wasn't going to be able to do it, because I was at a salon that had a color section, and then the bottom had the stylist that cut and did blowouts. So and then some of them did color down there. And I remember being an assistant, like the upstairs in the color room gave me so much anxiety, because the women in there are working so damn hard. And I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing. So like I always attracted to the downstairs vibe, which was hair cutting with some color, but there was a lot of blowouts. And I was like, I'm gonna get stuck.
Probably wasn't as much of a mess either down there.
And I was like, I was assisting. I was always keeping up. But I started out after beauty school, and I thought I wanted to be in this big, large spot field that had a nail tech, that had this, massages and all that. And I realized that it wasn't what I wanted. Like it didn't have, even though it had everything I thought I always wanted when I was in beauty school, when I got there, I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. So, and then I downsized it. I went to a smaller salon that was also a barber shop. That started out as a barber shop, and then they converted into a salon barber shop. And then it was me and then 3 other girls, and we were both building our books at the same time. So you know how complicated that can get
when multiple people
are starting at the same level. It was interesting. I got through it. I was able to build my little clientele for 2 years there. And when I was trying to get to that point, I'm like, oh, let's offer this to the clients. Let's offer that. It got harder because my vision wasn't their vision. And I respect that. That's their business. And I feel like if that wasn't what they wanted their vibe to be, I respect that. But for me, I outgrew it. And that's when I was like...
That's when you know.
That's when I knew. So, and then another night, I'm sitting on my couch and I was watching Guy Tang, okay? On YouTube.
This is where Guy Tang comes in.
This is where Guy Tang comes in. And he was like in this little suite. I was like, oh my God, it was so cool to like own my own little space, right? I'm not even joking, 10 minutes later, Sola Studios New Jersey liked my photo on Instagram. And I'm like, what is Sola Studios?
Yeah.
So
let me investigate.
Long story short, I investigated coming to New Jersey, suite renters are becoming legal, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what? It comes with cabinets and sinks?
Yeah.
I'm like, all I gotta do is sign a plumbing. I don't have to build a salon from scratch. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I only been doing it for 3 years at this point, right? And had an interview. I was the first one to like get the lease in New Jersey. We're actually on Google, like first, like my name is there. Like Luana Stay Bar opened up the first suite in New Jersey with Sola Studios. We're actually there because we were the first suite that was like that signed the contract.
Yeah.
So
you were on it.
I was on it.
It hit New Jersey.
You know, it's so exciting because I did have a partner at that time. So you had that friend that you were like planning decor. You're up all night doing Pinterest and figuring it out. And my husband was like, just go for it. Yeah. So he built the first one, which was like, 220 square feet, if that. But he got it. He saw our vision. He believed in me. Yeah. And I was able to get out from the salon environment to open my own space, which
finally do all of your visions that you were seeing
and just to
that whole time.
Sign paperwork that you're growing up right there and then. Like as soon as you're like, oh my god, I'm signing a lease. It's like this is mine. This is mine. And but I never looked, and I never had a fear of failing for whatever reason. I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. Yeah. What's the worst that's gonna happen?
What's the worst that's gonna happen? Yeah.
Well, many things happen, but you grow from it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, being that you just left off with that, let's talk about when we finally opened. Right. What were our first struggles with having a business? Because I feel like that's really important for people to know. It's not as easy as just opening the doors and everything is perfect like you see on Instagram. It doesn't really work that way, and it's not real life.
And I find that transitioning from a salon that's commission based, not knowing exactly how much you make, because back in the day, I'm very open with my employees. They get like a sheet with everything, how many blowouts, how many this, how many that. We're organized. So any questions, we're a phone call away. When I was working at a salon, I didn't have that. I just had whatever the paycheck was.
And I didn't even know what my commission was.
I didn't even know. No. And then every other few months, something changed. They will add something into my this, and then more money got deducted. So I realized that I was ready. We didn't know our
numbers. We were stylists.
And I realized when it was time for me, it was when I had the app for the booking. My last shift, I was like, let's see how much money I made for the year. It was my first like 1 full year there. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I made this much money. This is so exciting. And when my tax returns came, it was not even half of it. Yeah. So like the sales were there, but like they were taking so much off my actual numbers that I was
you got hit at the end.
That I got hit in there, and I'm like, dude, like Instagram had just kicked off, so a lot of my clients were coming from Instagram. I'm bringing my own referrals in at that time, and they were feeding me a little bit as well. But like, I'm doing this all on my own. So what's the difference between being in this chair or being in the chair that I want to purchase and actually have my clients sit on? And so that's when I made that move, and I never looked back. Yeah. But the numbers were big. Like, you think you make so much more money than you actually think, right? Because once you go into your business, you got to pay for everything, your color costs, everything, just everything. With the suites, everything's included. So I went in from like
necessary like
your plumbing, your water, your this, that was included. So it's like, oh, this is easy.
But not the extra expenses.
And they have all saving for taxes. And nobody tells you that.
Because now you're paying your business taxes, which are big girl taxes. Those aren't just like being an employee of an employer, right? And just doing regular taxes, getting a tax return back. Because
that never happens ever again. Once you open a salon,
once you open a business in general,
you're always gonna owe.
You're giving all the money. So that's a really tough thing to learn, I feel like, in the beginning. And I think a lot of everybody, when you're just a stylist and you don't really know your numbers, or when you're just an employee in general and you don't really know what you're making and why, or you don't really pay attention to it because you don't need to know.
You're just getting a paycheck.
When you finally have to make a move, you realize, oh, this is what the salon or the business was paying this whole time. Right. This is their overhead. Oh, you have to pay for that POS system. Right. Oh, you have to pay for supplies. Oh, you have to pay for color. You have to pay for back bar.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot.
It's a lot, and it adds up. And that 50% commission that you're getting,
and you don't even see it.
You don't see it.
You don't see it.
A lot of people don't understand that. And I think that just bouncing off of taxes and all of that, my first mess up with owning a business was we didn't put everyone on payroll right away when I first opened. And I didn't put them on payroll right away because I didn't know anything about payroll. So I was like, oh, let's just get open. Let's get the clients in. Like, we have all these people that are waiting to come. We were like insanely busy the first month, 2 months. I mean, me and the one other girl, we worked 7 days a week in the beginning. We didn't have a day closed. So we just didn't have a chance to look into it, think about it. We just kind of opened the doors. And so we opened in September. So it was like the last quarter. Yeah. And come January, the 2 girls that worked for me got hit with having to pay taxes.
Right. Because they were on W-2s and they weren't saving anything.
Deducted because they didn't.
Yeah. That actually happened to one of my stylists here. Yeah.
So you're basically like a 1099 at that point, right? Yeah. And now you're paying the taxes that you never got taken out. And they were mad, and rightfully so. Right. We explained to them at that point, like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, you have to understand, we just opened a business. We had no idea what we were doing. Like that, like, real humble moment of admitting that you messed up completely and that we're not as perfect as everyone thinks you are sometimes. Yeah. It was really hard to like admit that.
That's so great you sharing that, because a lot of people won't even share stuff like that, you know? And I feel like one of my mistakes, okay?
Let's hear it.
Okay, this is so
the juiciness.
But like after I left the suite, because you know the first suite we outgrew it so quick, so it was like a year. Yeah. And it just let's just go open up. So and then I opened up an actual 3,000 square feet salon, employees, everything, a whole build out, plumbing, all that was, you know, like everything was like your first setup. That was my second setup. Yep. And my first mistake, 3 months in, we opened up in July. I remember it was like the day before my husband's birthday or something. And September, we got sued with a non-compete. And we got smacked. And even though we weren't even part of that non-compete, like because we hired them and then the other salon came, smacked us down, and we just got sued and we didn't even know who they were. Yeah. But what are you gonna do? You gotta back them up. You gotta support them. Yeah. Like it was our fault for not thinking that the non-compete wasn't gonna work.
Gonna uphold. Yeah. Yes. Because
so
sometimes
thousands of dollars later, somebody bought a nice bagger car after like we paid them out, you know, pay them off. So it sucked. But that was my first
really good
lesson. Like guys, non-competes work. So like it worked for us, and we thought we were gonna get away with it. Like we're girls, we're not gonna get away. Everybody left. Everybody's fine. And, you know, and nope, never mind. The state of New Jersey smacked us down, and we had to pay. So
that
was
a
my first
really good one
to
point out. Oh my God, no, that was a really good one to point out. And these are the things that people don't really notice that will happen in the beginning. So I feel like those are 2 major ones. Yeah. I feel like a minor one might be like when you have an employee that doesn't meet your energy.
Oh, that's so important.
Right? And can mess up the whole culture. Yeah. But you want to hold on to them because you're just starting off.
And you need bodies. You need bodies.
You need bodies.
You need that phone call.
So you don't have that, you don't have that foundation yet to be like, no, you know what? You're not fitting our culture. This isn't working. I'm sorry. Hire.
Also, too, you're still figuring out what your culture is, right? So, like, you know what your culture, what your salon, you know what you want your salon to feel like because they're coming, that's your salon. Yeah. But then you have to hire the right people to be able to fit into your culture.
100%.
So, like, when you have those people that you feel like it started out great and then all of a sudden it just goes down. And you're like, God, I thought she was going to be with me forever. Yeah. And it doesn't work. And then you taught them so much. And I learned that in this industry, especially owning a salon, your job is to teach, right? And if you're a boss that doesn't teach your tricks and doesn't tell what your formulas are, because I have heard
to be an open book.
If you're not an open book, owning a salon is not for you. Like it's just not. You have. I feel like I'm constantly mentoring, and it could be from my personal life. It could be from like just mixing color, you know,
100%.
And just being able to have that personality. I think it's really important owning a salon.
And you have to walk in the door no matter what's going on outside with a smile on your face. Always. Because We are
we cannot have a bad day.
The pyramid,
but we can't have a bad day
for everybody else's personalities and what the salon vibe is going to be. And if we're not good, then everybody else is going to feel shifts. That. Yes. And it chips away, right? Yeah. So we are the ones that set the tone for everybody else. But on top of it, like you said, always being on, always mentoring, always helping people and being an open book, because you're not opening a business to babysit.
Right.
Or to just have people come in and do their thing, because that's not what they're looking for.
Right.
People are always like, what's the number one reason why people leave a business in general, not even just a salon, a business in general?
To be honest, I think it's because they're not being heard.
Yep.
That's a huge one for me. Like, I feel like I always try to listen to their complaints.
Yeah.
Because even though you might think you have the best environment, somebody might not think that. Yeah. Like sometimes you're like, oh my God, I never knew you felt this way. Like, so like
the communication.
The communication is so big. Major. So like I feel like I do a great job keeping things open, and you know, and like if there's something, please text me, please talk to me. Like I'm a friend, but I'm also an owner.
Don't hold it in until the very last minute. If you hold it in,
oh my God, it's like kaboom.
Bigger than what it needs to be.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is growth.
Yeah.
I think the other most important factor is growth, because a lot of people leave any business if they don't feel like they're growing, or if they don't see a vision ahead of them of being able to do more with that company.
Right.
People want to know their game plan. They want to know what's in it for them, 100%. And they want to know where this company is going to take them to.
100%. Oh my God, 100%.
The roadmap.
What is the future?
Yeah.
It's not just here's the wall. Here's your clients, take it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And
absolutely.
what does the salon do for me?
Right.
Because also, or the business do for me, right? Because also the business has to have a value.
Right.
What's the value? I could, in a hair industry, feed you clients.
Right.
I could promote on Instagram. How many new clients are we getting in a month? We do sponsored ads. Right. What's the number one thing that people want to see now on Instagram? I know you know this question.
There's so many things, but I think it's like your true personality.
Your true personality.
Like, the photos do not do justice.
Yeah.
You still want to post photos and reels and stuff, but like they want to see who you are. Yeah. I feel like people want to connect with the stylist.
With the stylist, yes.
So and the environment of the salon is so important.
100%.
So like you have to you got to be in a good mood, and if you know what I mean, like it's just what it is. You got to provide.
Everyone is producing beautiful work.
Everybody does good hair. And
everyone
that's what I said.
does good hair. What makes you different than the stylist down the street?
Exactly, 100%.
Remember years ago when it was like people just posting the back of hair all day long, and that was it, and everyone was posting the back of hair?
How much money do you spend, like right now, with all the 8 salons you have? Are all 8 of them in social? Like, are you guys all in social media with all 8 of them, or is it? I know I see the room a lot on my everywhere on my Instagram. I gotta book an appointment, and then they're gonna stop showing up.
Book your appointment. No, you just come and hang out with us.
Yes, of course. But like, how much money have you spent? Let's just say in 2024. Like, we are in what now? March. Like in 3 months, how many? It's a lot, right?
Yeah, like. We spend thousands of dollars a month alone on just our sponsored ads to get new clients in. And our goal average is to get about 100 new clients a month in the location. The room has a bigger following. So I feel like our ads reach more because of that, because of the platform, and because we're so consistent with posting all the time, and the story and the feed always going, that our ads hit harder. So that location, for instance, will get like 150 new clients a month.
That's amazing.
Right? So it really, how you have to utilize it. What about you guys? Because this salon is...
It's brand new.
But it's
brand new location, brand new everything. So we've been here for maybe a little like 7 months. It's gonna be a year in the end of July, which is so exciting. But it's a brand new name. It's a brand new culture. So it's almost starting from scratch. So this is my 4th time opening a salon. So like we're gonna stay here for a little bit.
Yes, so, you better stay here for a really long time.
We have to stay here for a little bit because it's been such a journey. Yeah. Thank you so much. But doing this all over again, but like doing it on my own. I feel like with social media, I have just spent so much money. so much money. And like Google is huge for us.
Oh my God.
Like our Google reviews.
It's a whole nother platform.
It's huge for us. So we are investing so much more on Google right now because I feel that Instagram right now at this moment is so flooded with so many ads that I feel so many people are just doing this and not even listening to it anymore. So I found like that right now Google is like winning on my part because the reviews, a lot of everybody that's moving into this area, I feel like they're coming to try us out because of our reviews.
And that's why reviews are so important. Because when you boost a Google ad, what do you need? You need a lot of reviews to stand out, to push it, right? And that is one platform that we use a lot of too, because you could also track your calls from Google, and you can see how many calls you get a day, which is amazing.
For the whole month, and then you see how much you're growing. I also find that for myself, I started out my career on social media, which I'm so lucky that I say this all the time. I'm like, God, why didn't I figure out beauty school before I was 24? And but I would have been a completely different stylist right now. Like if I was doing a beauty school right after high school. So I feel like where I started, like when I was assisting, ombre was out. So remember the V and the W? When everybody walked out with a V in their hair and the line and the line. So I started out with the word balayage. So that's where it all came from me. I didn't know how to do anything from before then because I was not even doing hair. So when I got behind the chair, Instagram was a thing. And I just mentally just posted every day. So like now I feel like some of the new stylists coming in, sometimes they get discouraged because they see people with like they have a small following and they're not posting every day.
20K,
yeah. 100K. I mean, come on. We look. I have 12,000 followers, right? But like it's nothing compared to some of the people who have 200,000 followers.
But it's really good.
Some people, thank you. Some people worked really hard to get their followers. Some people buy them. So like,
and now you don't even know.
Now you don't even know. It's so frustrating to me to like know that you work so hard to get to that point. And like, but followers and Instagram is so important, but it's not everything, right? It's your repeat clients, it's your referrals, it's everything.
Let's talk about that for 1 second. There's only so many new clients that you could get. If you're always depending on the new client, you're never going to build your book. It's the retention. It's how soon you're getting that new client back in. If you're rebooking them, then you're getting them back in 4 times a year instead of, if you left it up to them, 2 times a year.
100%.
So now you're making more money in the year on that one client.
100%.
And if you're just waiting for that new client, you're gonna go through the
100%.
slow periods, the busy periods, the slow periods again. It's
instead
slow
of staying consistent
in the summer. It's slow in January. You could be consistent. It's just all about booking your clients.
It's all about pre-booking
and utilizing social media.
Social media is the key. Like it's my life. Like I can't go to bed. Like sometimes I skip a day because we're all humans and you get burned out. I get burned out many times throughout the years, but then you have to constantly reinvent on social media. Like right now, you know, like you were saying before, remember when we just posted the back of your hair and clients would not even post their face? Now clients come in with makeup on. They come in with their cute clothes.
Because they know that you're going to take a picture of them.
And they want to be posted. And sometimes I have asked, like, how come you didn't post? Was my hair not good enough? I'm like, oh my gosh, no, it was bad lighting. It was like nighttime and like, you know, figuring it out, the nighttime photos versus the daytime. It's so important. But like clients want it by post. You know how many of my clients have my photo on their main photos now on Instagram? I'm like, I should be charging for these damn headshots now at this point. But
they're promoting you.
But it's so exciting to like see that they love their hair and they're able to post it. But it's all through social media. And
but they find us because we're posting other people's hair and they love our work. So if they come in and we don't post their hair, they feel some type of way because they think that we're going to post them because that's how they find us. From everybody else's head.
Absolutely. And let me ask you a question. How often do you post?
Every day.
Every post every day? Okay.
Multiple times a day.
Do you post for your personal hair account and for your salons, or do you post
I focus more on my businesses.
Okay.
But my personal is not every day, but I try to get my story going every day. At least. My feed might not be. But on our business page, we try to get a post every day and the story always going too. What about you?
I post almost everything on my account. The business account, I try to stay consistent to 3 to 5 times a week. I do have some downtime because I also feel like pushing the girls and everybody to post. It can't just be my work.
No,
it can't just
has
only
to be
salon
everybody.
wall.
Yeah.
It has to be everybody's work.
Yeah.
And you know the craziest thing I heard? I had a stylist that applied here not too long ago, and she said that the salon that she worked did not repost their work and tag them. Do you do that? Or do you tag the stylist?
We tag.
Do you tag the stylist?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like it's so important to show off who did the work. And
people are scared to tag their stylist.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they're in my business, I want them to grow and be successful. They're not going to be with
people
me forever.
People need to know who did the hair that I'm posting. And I'm posting their work on our page.
Yeah, it blew my mind.
So now it's good because everybody knows how crucial
social
Instagram and social media is, and Google.
Right.
Because if you're not on Google, you're not doing it right.
And honestly too, thanking for having like such a young like stylist family with me, TikTok is huge. So
I know.
We've been getting such a huge following on TikTok and people booking their services through TikTok as well. Yeah. So now everybody, if you want to use social media, if you don't use social media yet, get on it. I even heard YouTube Shorts are really big now too. And if you're posting, post on every platform, including Facebook. Just repost.
Yep, on everything. The same content on every single platform, because if you're not hitting it on Instagram, because that's where everybody is, you'll hit it on TikTok. And if that's where everyone is too, then you'll hit it on Google.
Absolutely.
So if you're doing everything, you're really going to grow your business. If you're doing the minimal,
absolutely,
it's going to take longer.
Yeah. I agree. Social media is huge.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely huge.
So thank you everybody for coming out today for our podcast. We will see you for episode 3.